German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said Europe can no longer rely on its allies and must take its fate into its own hands. She made the remarks on Sunday at an election rally in Munich after returning home from the recent G7 summit in Italy. Aram reports.
Speaking on Sunday after what she called unsatisfactory G7 talks, Merkel said the EU can no longer rely on its traditional British and American allies. However, she did mention that Europe had to forge its own path forward in tandem with friendly relations with the UK, the US and even Russia.
The times in which we can fully count on others are somewhat over, as I've experienced in the past few days. And that is why I can only say we Europeans must really take our destiny into our own hands. Of course, in friendship with the United States, in friendship with Great Britain, with good neighborly relations wherever possible, also with Russia and other countries.
There were renewed concerns at the G7 summit in Italy as President Trump, who was attending the gathering for the first time, was the only leader to say he needed more time to think about committing to the 2015 Paris Agreement on climate change. He was also coming fresh off a NATO summit in Brussels where he lambasted allies for not paying enough for defense. Soon after the G7 talks, Merkel described the results as 6 against 1, but didn't mention Trump by name.
Thirdly, and this was very difficult, if not to say very unsatisfactory, there was a whole discussion about the issue of climate change. Here we have a situation of 6 G7 leaders, or 7, if you're counting the EU against 1.
Back in Munich, meanwhile, Merkel instead turned her hopes to pro-EU French President Emmanuel Macron. She said Germany would help wherever it could because Germany will only do well if Europe does well. Aram, Arirang News.